Got it.
Come back to the flower house.
Yeah.
Carpet, Tony, put your hand on carpet.
Okay.
So just, I say, it's a bit steep and a bit slippery down here. What do you think? All these walls were put in by hand.
Be careful.
This is probably one of the best mines for pack walling you'll ever see.
Yeah,
It's absolutely fantastic.
there's a lot of pack walling everywhere in this mine.
Everything's packed in a few low places as well down this bit.
So,
If you get lost, find this blue pipe and follow it, it'll take you out.
the blue pipe will take you out. It's always good to know. So, we're here in the CHERT mine. We're gonna call it.
Yeah.
And our guy Tom is gonna show us around
You get us lost.
and not get us lost, hopefully,
You might do.
and tell us a lot about this place, because he did some working here, didn't you, Tom?
Back in the 80s, yeah, early 80s. Seen the dragon's teeth there, look.
Dragon's teeth, yeah.
It's fantastic, that.
Yeah. Los dientes del dragón.
Yeah.
Esto es calcita que se deposita, deposit calcite
Lots of
over
it.
time.
All
Sort of dries and crystallizes a bit, like you can see in this case.
Even on this bucket, look here. That's quite clever, that. Never noticed that before.
Oh yeah, a bucket with teeth.
Halloween special.
That's the first one, Halloween special
I've never
bucket,
seen that
yeah.
before.
The bucket.
Un cubo bucket.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose we're quite low. I mean,
Yeah.
we only just done the surface here.
I would have never seen this because, as I said, I've never been by this entrance, so
Have you not?
makes a bit of a change, different perspective.
It does get a bit low as you go on. But
Oh,
very-
watch your head, guys. Pipe overhead.
all this, when it was fired, obviously wider, and they just backed all the decks at the beds at the back and built the walling up. Look at this. It's even got the soot marks on the ceiling, look, from the old carbide lamps.
Yeah.
Can you see?
Yeah. These sod marks, and it's interesting because in some of the areas are quite heavy. The sod marks.
Yeah.
So-
So they've had a lamp hanging or something.
Oh, what was this? This is not black powder fallout. No, it's sod mark, very clearly.
Soot,
Sod mark. So they might have had a lamp hanging here
possibly.
from the ceiling, I would imagine.
A proud ambassador for Phoenix Lights.
Have you got your lamp with you, Steve? Got that one. Hi, Steve's got a proper. He's got a paraffin miner's lamp.
Oh, you got a
Safety
paraffin
lamp.
miner's lamp, so it can actually illustrate basically. Do you think they're using this kind of lamps though?
No, they were carbide in here.
They were actually carbide
I know
lamps.
they were.
So they use carbide lamps. However, this is an original paraffin lamps, and they would have used it mostly in coal mines. Obviously, where does this come from specifically? Does it say? Does it come from a specific mine, or is just?
No, it's just a protector lamp and lighting.
Yeah.
Miner's lamp.
So if we all switch the lights off, let's all switch the lights off. We'll get an idea of the light. You still got some light on there, John. Never mind. The light that it used to give off. Obviously, it would have been a maybe much bigger flame. Depends on the amount of paraffin that they had in the actual lamp. But don't forget, your eyes get adjusted to the darkness. So now we can't see anything. After a few minutes, which we're not going to do, you'll probably see the wall or the passage, a bit of the passage around you. But now it's just pitch blackness, as you can see.
Carbide actually is a lot brighter. A hell of a lot brighter.
Carbide gives a lot of light off, does it? I used to use carbide in my first explores back in Menorca, and when you set it right, it does give a nice surrounding magic glow, as I call it. Very cool, thank you.
Be sure to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell.
We do work.
¿Te suena? Piedras de carburo. So we have a lot of pack walls, as Tom has mentioned here. What is this? Is it kind of where the pack walls have collapsed a
No,
bit?
I don't, you know.
Sort of a man-made escape ways, could it be?
There is one lower down. But there is a...
Could this be like escape ropes for the miners?
It looks like there's a... It goes on, that does actually, if you look. If you climb up and just shine your torch over there, it looks like it goes on down there. There is one lower down that does go on, but it's collapsed in a couple of places.
Oops.
I don't want to. Just be careful.
Collapse anything down. But, oh yeah, this connects to another, kind of another level. I'm sure we're going to get round to it, are we?
Probably.
Yeah.
See how they worked these mines is it were like chock and drop, so they tunnel underneath and dropped it and they'd do a big area. So this all at one time would have been a working face. And obviously when they worked it out, they fully took with all the deads and put these walls in.
Yeah, of course, as they take the seam of CHERT, which is a horizontal seam, they have to shore up basically everything that's above, because all the roof would come, all the earthboat would come crashing down on the miners.
When you get down to the working face where it was last worked, you'll see how they worked it.
Yeah. And this is a CHERT mine. What was CHERT used for, Tom?
It was basically used in the pottery industry. It was used for grinding the glaze. They found out because CHERT was a lot harder than gritstone, they'd use it for the glaze. So what they used to do, they used to have what they call runners and pavers. So the pavers were set in the bottom of like a big pan, and the runners were 2 blocks on top. They may have weighed half a ton apiece, and they went round on a spindle like that. And they used to drop the bone meal and everything else that they used for the buying fine bone china inside it, and if to grind it all up into the powder for putting the glaze on the lamps.
Yeah, yeah.
Put onto the pots.
Was that down last time?
I
don't think it
so it was destined to the potteries, all the CHERT.
pottery, and it also
Was it ornamental as well at the beginning or not? Because we know, like,
it was from all Wedgwood actually. I mean, he discovered this and process, and he
Who did,
helped
sorry?
us by Josiah Wedgwood.
discovered the process of
He invented it. Yeah, that's
of
why
the use of the silica in the CHERT
that's why
for the
three,
glazing of potteries.
That's why the 3 mines in Bakewell that there were. This one was owned by him. This mine I think dates back to originally 1750 or something.
1750, the
Something
very
like
start
that.
of this mine.
But there were 3 mines here. There was the bottom mine,
Yeah,
this one,
yeah,
and then the quarry end.
yeah. That's a manway, is it?
It is a manway, but it don't go very far.
So just to illustrate how tiny these mineways were,
You can get on there.
I'm just gonna go in. But basically that's how tiny these mineways
It does
were.
go on. It actually joins up lower down, but it's...
So these manways were like probably quick access roads between levels, escape routes. They have safety and practical purpose to navigate around the mine, I'm sure. But it goes, and it will connect to some of the levels that we're gonna go. Okay. Old miners safety wood. Tell us about them.
It's probably, I don't know, 1940s maybe.
1940s. They would have
40s.
the workers would have used this kind of shoeware, which basically they replicate the old lead miners hobnail boots. That's the same principle. They have nails at on the sole, which have disappeared on this one. They give better grip when they walk around the mines. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There is another one somewhere. There's also a pair of mine somewhere as well if we find them.
So the manway that we've seen runs parallel pretty much to this passage. Or diagonally, what do you think? Because
It runs at the side of it. Well, it goes off slightly. When we go round to the corner, around the corner at the end here, it joins up somewhere around there.
yeah, as we can see, it gets a bit lower in places, but however,
Somebody's had a Bakewell pudding. Pudding not tart.
Bakewell pudding,
Bakewell pudding.
John?
Not tart. The
original Bakewell pudding. Take a look.
Got it.
So I don't think this the mine roof would have been this low when after they mined. Do you think it's come down over time, Tom? It must have come down with the pressure above.
But when you look at the pack walling, the pack walling's straight.
Yes, that's a good point. If the back wall is straight.
So it probably was. I think somebody's put there, but that says emergency exit, which it probably was up into the...
Emergency exit. So we kind of come in via the emergency exit, I think. Hemos entrado por la entrada de emergencia, porque ahí pone emergency exit.
Yeah.
Steve, we'll go down this way first.
This way?
Now, they did have horses in here, I do know that, because there was a stables.
There were stables. Are we going to see any remains or indication of the
I
stables?
think the stables were outside, but they may have had something down here. But I know there were stables, and they did have ponies. So down here, this
They had working ponies down this mine. That's amazing. But it kind of makes sense because, you know, where the options back in then times, back in the, you know, 20s, 30s, 40s, late 1800s.
From where the tracks were, just on the ground here. I think we're going to call this the Pony CHERT mine.
Pony CHERT mine, yeah, I like it.
Follow it right down to the bottom and we'll pick these up on his way back out.
Look at this, levels everywhere, diversions. So you found bulbs in this place?
I found bulbs, yeah.
Well, if this one was, this mine was working till the 60s?
Probably very, very early, late 60s, very early 70s maybe.
So they would have made sense to find bulbs, and you have found some bulbs here,
I
have you?
found bulbs with track tie nailed hammered up into there. Can you see it, look?
Yeah.
What's that?
Track tie hammered up into there. If you look here, look, clay. So you're on a clay bed here.
Clay beds just over us, yeah.
You can see it.
These clay beds would have caused a lot of collapses back in the days because they are a much weaker rock seam. Well, it's actually not rock, it's actually clay as you touch
In
it.
fact, that could even be shale underneath it.
Yeah,
Very
it could be.
Shale bed.
So they gave a lot of trouble to the miners. And looks like we're going to intercept another main passage there.
There is
As
one lower down.
I can see right ahead of us. What have we got here, John? Tom?
Oh, cardboard boxes. Oh, I'll tell you what, that's a lamp box for a I reckon that's for a bulb box.
A bulb box.
Looking at it, yeah.
Coming out of there.
Crystal lamps, yeah. So it's a bulb box.
Crystal lamps, so a bulb box. This would have been a 30s, 40s. It looks very old. But una caja de para bombillas. Crystal lamps. It went from original carbide lamps to electrical lamps or bulbs. What's all this white stuff? Is this carbide, you think?
Well, down here used to really smell of carbide, so it could be.
This could be a pocket of the old carbide that they just left there.
Where
Or,
they tap the lights out.
but then again, the way it's scattered about, it makes me think that it might be something else. I'm not sure. Anyway,
It's a bit of a
So,
passage there.
So you in here.
Passage going there. Wow, this opens up quite a bit, does it?
it does.
It's impressive.
Well,
Se abre mucho aquí, ¿ves?
when this
Big.
when this was opened in the very early 80s as a show mine.
So they reopened it as a show mine in the
Yeah.
80s. That's interesting.
So where we get down here, you'll see the entrance that was actually we put that in.
So you helped reopen it as a show mine. Yeah?
Yeah.
And why did it close?
That I don't know because I'd left the area by then. But this truck,
We're just going to train tracks here.
we put a lot of this in, what was left. And this truck here actually came from higher up that road.
Yeah.
Where you go up the road and up the bank, there was down the bank side there was a couple of entrances that you could get into, and we actually two-footed that out and up the bank and then run it down that road and down into here.
So this is not an original...
It is an original one.
It's an original miner's
It
card,
came up from higher up in the mine.
but it comes from the other end of the mine,
Yeah,
basically.
up
But
at the
this was
top end.
definitely used by the miners.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, original mine card.
Not originally from this mine, but it is an authentic.
It is from this mine, Richie.
Oh, right.
It is, but it's from higher up.
Right, I
This
see.
mine, like I say, it's a
So
big
we're getting a
mine.
view from below
Yeah.
of the
If you push that
of the car wheels.
Yeah.
Just sat on the rails dry there.
tracks, steel ties, so this is quite late.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it still moves, does it? There you are.
Yeah.
Still moves.
Right, well, yeah, you can push it right down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we have done. The varying people sat on it before.
Oh, another couple of set of car wheels there.
The pylons for support,
Yeah, the pipelines for
support water maybe.
water. What were the pipelines for? Water and air as well? Compressed air?
Probably more compressed air than water in here, to be honest with you.
Aire comprimido.
Yeah.
There is down there.
Compressed
Yeah,
air for the drills.
for
For drilling.
There is down there. There is water down there.
Yeah, compressed air pipes. The purpose of the compressed air pipes, obviously, to supply compressed air for the manual drills they were using to drill in the faces and, you know, put the explosives in and blast the faces off. Were they using explosives on the faces? Suppose they did.
Yeah, they will have done. What they used to do, it's like they used to say what they call pillar and drop. So they go underneath, they build pillars, drill it, and then drop it all, and then muck it out, and then start again.
We're going to see some examples when we go on the actual last working phase of this mine, are we, Tom?
Yeah, this is original. But there is another one that's outside that we had outside that we bought in, but this was just a hand crank pulley.
And it's still working.
Yeah, it still works even though it's locked off there. Works
So
perfect.
this would have had a cable tower around it. The other cable end would have been tied to the mine card, loaded with the CHERT, and
And it had a brake on
out
as
it
well.
goes.
I mean, you can see how it,
That's
where
the
it jogs
braking.
on
That's
there,
kind
yeah.
of the crank braking mechanism, is it?
It is.
So it stops it rolling round the opposite way,
Yeah,
basically.
basically, so it don't run back.
Yeah,
But it's had some wear, you can see it's had some wear.
has got a lot of wear. It's been used for a long time, but the condition of this is impeccable, really.
It's really quite good.
Yeah.
It would have been possibly a two-man one at one time.
Oh
Depending
yes,
where it
there's
was,
some
or
handles
it came
here
from.
actually. I can see some handles here, so there's definitely, this was definitely a two-man. Or either that or could be operated on both sides, I
Right, two
suppose.
people.
Or two people, depends on the load.
As you get farther up here now, this is the other end where the lower entrance was. Now this is one of the original mines up here.
So
I don't think
we are
these
heading,
original for this area.
sorry, we are heading towards the original, one of the original mine entrances, actually the original mine entrance, the main mine entrance to this place.
But it wasn't.
And we can see a lot of rails in place, as we can see, with turning points there.
It's getting near the original mine entrance, and you can actually see the lights just coming through where the actual gate is.
Survey lines here, look.
Some props there for support. As you can see, a lot of these beds overhead are cracked and could be falling down, so they had to take some precautions and shore them up with the steel beams. Just use what they had really, and wooden props at the top. It goes another way there.
Goes down to water.
We're going to see that, are we? We're going to revisit some of the further levels.
Now, these aren't original. So this entrance back in 1980 was literally that high.
Back in 1980 was very high.
It was rubble. It was built up with rubble. So we dug this entrance out and buried it somewhere down there, and then we set these rings. These rings were supplied by a guy called Colin Laidlow, who was a mine engineer. That he had something to do with this when it was a show mine. We set the rings, set these tins over, and put the gates on, and that was the original entrance to the show mine then. And this is where the people came in. This was, I think, probably certainly until about 85, 86 before it closed. May have been a little bit later.
Right, so you put part in the building, the shoring up of this old entrance, basically.
I helped dig all this out.
That had been long forgotten.
I mean, if you look outside, you can see. I mean, I think this is where somewhere down this back end here, where the original stables were as well. But this was the original entrance to the mine.
Oh, this is crazy.
There's a gantry over there. They possibly had maybe another crane, I don't know, I can't remember now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, oh yeah, the gantry, yeah, overhead. It would have made sense that it had a crane overhead, because as soon as the CHERT was coming out of this main adit, they just haul it out, pull it out, yeah.
But the tracks go out, if you look.
Yeah.
You can see where they go out, up into that bottom yard.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the stable, because that looks like it's bricked off. With a concrete top.
Yeah.
That may have been the stables there. I'm not 100% certain, but I know they had ponies down here. I think, if I remember right, I think it's the water table.
That's the water table. There's some nice bits. There's the compressed air pipes that go down in the water, basically, in the further workings that are flooded. What happens here is that the bed chairs really were on an incline, were they? And as the incline goes down, it hits the water table, which back in them days they would have pumped the water out. But as they abandoned the mine, the water basically took its natural course.
The river here as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, the river's not a million miles away from it. So the deeper you go, the deeper are you going to be under the water.
Yeah.
So it can soak through the limestone beds.
So we're going to see some of the flooded areas, which I believe after the drought we had recently, they had receded down quite a lot, and I've seen pictures of actual people exploring where normally the cave divers come and explore it. So
just be careful.
yeah, an old wooden stemple and prop.
Could have been a winch here if you look. There's the rope still left there.
Oh yeah, there definitely was a winch here.
There. There's a rope.
There definitely was a winch.
Back up there, look.
Yeah, winch here, and the cable tied around the winch. Obviously, a lot of the winches, they just moved them around the mine after they worked the level and they moved to some other areas of the mine. What is that?
I think it's just where they. I think it's just where they worked it, and then they built this wall between it.
I'll take a quick look. It seems to go down very quickly. There's quite a few calcite formations here. Nothing major.
Minus not.
Minus not. As Tom says, that's how they called it, though, did they? Yeah. I think this definitely is going nowhere, or doesn't seem to be. Okay, I mean, even if it goes, we're not going to be doing the crawly areas because we have a lot to look at in this mine anyway, so we don't want to be holding anyone back, right? Okay. Yeah, because it's a bit of a thicker pipe than the one that's hanging overhead.
Yeah.
So this would have been the one for pumping out the water, I would imagine.
The way it is as well,
Esta casi seguro que era de agua, Tony. Sí. Pero para sacar el agua de la mina, ¿sabes? Cuando se inundaba. Water pipe. What is this?
That's like a, well, that's like a wide piece. A wide piece is like a manifold, isn't it? It looks like a manifold of some sort. Well, it's definitely water pipe.
This is also water pipe.
I reckon so.
Was this to
It might have been, I don't know, it might have been, yeah.
It's hard to tell.
Saddle.
Oh, that could have been the water pipe, and that could be the air pipe.
I don't know.
Compressed air pipe, do you think?
Yeah, there'd have been a winch here.
A lo mejor esta era para el agua y esta para el aire.
Well, there could have been like this one up here because there are connections every so often I've seen. So maybe it was actually at a high
This was
point.
hanging overhead, maybe. Yes,
Possibly.
you're right.
There is
You're
a
right,
piping.
because this seems to have held some sort of utility piping at one point. I mean, it would make sense that it wasn't just dragging on the floor where the minecarts and the men were just going up and down.
6.
What's this, Tom?
Been a winch here by the looks of
A
it.
winch.
It might have even been a pump.
Oh yeah,
Something, but
something sat here, maybe a pump.
could be a pump, could be a winch, but there's
A lo
something
mejor había
definitely
un motor aquí, eléctrico para bombear el agua. Maybe like, yeah.
What was like a frame here for something.
Maybe not electric pump, it would have been a diesel pump, I would imagine, back in them days.
It was definitely a pump rather than a winch, I'd say, because it's got the rubber footing.
Yeah, I think.
Yes, for
And
the
if you're a
vibration.
winch, you wouldn't want to have rubber settings. You'd want
And how
to
it
actually.
sat as well.
So-
'cause it
That's a
sat
good
that
point.
way on. If it had been a winch, surely it would have been sat long ways on
Yeah,
Yeah.
to wind. So I reckon it could have been a pump of some description.
yeah, it makes sense. Well noted there, Richie.
I did
Yeah,
think that when I
because
looked at
this is
that.
rubber, so this would have taken a lot of the vibration impact from the actual pump when it was working.
I reckon that's where it were. Can you get that? This. Here they say it looks.
Oh wow,
Stanton Pipes, 1946.
I mean, why would they need something this size down here?
Oh,
Have you not seen how much water there is in here?
But
but that would actually marry up with the pipe's diameter down there as well. So there's a pipe which is equally as large as that for I'm guessing the obvious pumping out of the
pumping
water.
out of water,
Yeah.
yes, it would make sense. So let's take a look at the flooded levels and will give us an idea. Oh yes, we can see the size of the pipes here.
Now,
Wow.
in I think it was it February we came to see it? Well,
January, February, yeah.
this was you couldn't have walked here, it was flooded.
People are just disgusting, are they? Why would they live? Litter here.
Right, yeah. If you look here, there's a sump for the pump. You can. We'll have a look in a minute. So there's a sump here for pulling the water up. So they've dug that down deeper to let the water into the bottom, because they say there's probably 2 out of 3 levels that's flooded in here.
So there could be a level below?
There's a couple of levels, at least 2 that were accessible.
Yeah.
That where they mined it out, you can see the walling, how the pack walling is done.
So if you could drain the water out and you could remove all the debts that have fallen in, basically, you would have quite a large size cavern here.
If you look here, if you look down into it, if your torch will do it, you can see where the sump, this is the sump for the water that, obviously, if they come into there,
Yeah, it's all
suck out.
collapsed with rocks. We're going to carefully sort of skirt around the edges here.
You couldn't get round here.
We're not going to disturb any of this water. It'll make a nice picture on the way back, yeah? Before we get out of here, I'll take a picture.
If you look, there's also like a steel saddle or something over there.
Oh yeah?
Maybe just to keep the crap out.
Yeah? Yeah.
I've never seen it as low as this, not for a long, long time.
No, we had quite a drought saying that, have we? So we're going to skirt around carefully here.
So we've got some lines going into the water here, and these lines
You know what?
the many people who actually gone swimming out of that area, and that's to aid them in direction.
I've not been around here for years.
You see the diver's line? The diver's line, John? This is where the divers go. Tony, aquí vienen los buzos, ¿ves? Siguen la línea.
Right, well, I'll tell you something about that mannequin.
The ranks or probably about 2 deep, but right here.
Oh, what's here? I've never been
I've never been up here.
I've never been up here, so it'll be interesting to see what remains we can find.
So, right, just look that area, it's right over the top here.
The mannequin's head, right?
Is there a mannequin's head?
Yeah.
Is that for the show mine?
Yeah. We had a Holman drill set up on a, it was on a leg, but it was on a leg that was like a ratchet leg, so you could wind it up, and the mannequin was lay underneath.
Oh, brilliant.
So I reckon that's the mannequin's head.
The mannequin's head from the show mine.
I reckon so. I'll show you where the old place was for that. What's that there? It's just a rock. Don't you go falling in?
God, these torches get very hot.
You do.